This video serves as an overview of the measurement tools for the Path 4K and View 4K cameras when using the on-screen display or OSD in HDMI mode. Moving the mouse to the top of the screen, you will find the measurement panel. This can be pinned on screen using the pin button here. Moving to the right of there, we will find our units as well as our magnification selection. In order to make measurements, the camera will first need to be calibrated for each objective or zoom point. Please see the calibrating video in the video description. Now that we do this here, we know we're using our 10x. And I would like to do it in microns, so we'll select that. And we can now move to the right here to check out our various tools. The first here is our object selection tool, which can be used to move around any of our measurements or annotations, as well as to get out of any of the measurement tools we're currently using. Next, we have some various angle measurements. We have our 3-point and 4-point angle measurements. This is going to be our point selection tool, which will give us the exact position in space on the image. We will have we now move on to our line tools. So we'll have things such as our arbitrary line, which can be basically a 2-point line made at any angle. 3-point line, which allows us to measure a distance, but then move the measurement line away from it so as to not obscure the area we're measuring. A horizontal line, which is held perfectly horizontal. A vertical line, which is held perfectly vertically. Parallel lines, so we can measure this between two parallels. And perpendicular, allowing us to measure between our vertical and horizontal perpendiculars. As I said, with selection tool, if we go back to our object selection tool, we can go here and we can move any of these around. We can move both the label and the measurement. And the label will follow the measurement at whatever distance it was placed and moved away from the label. If we would want to delete a single measurement we've made so far, our trash can option here will do that. And then the next one measurement we made will be selected. We can use something like the color tool here to change the color of the measurement and the text. And these arrow keys here can be used to move around the measurements, aside from just clicking and dragging and moving both the measurement and the label. If you would want to delete all the measurements on screen, the trash can icon up here right next to the X can be used to delete all measurements and annotations currently on screen. Moving on from our line tools, we quickly go through our various shape tools. We have a 2-point rectangle, a 3-point rectangle, an ellipse tool, our 5-point ellipse, we have our radius and diameter tool, where we'll select the exact center and then move to the edge. Got a 3-point circle. The annulus tool for creating a center, an inner and outer circle. It's going to be a 3-point annulus tool. 2 circles, which allow us to create 2 circles and then measure the distance between them, between their centers. Same tool, but this one is 3-point. An arc tool for measuring arcs. We then have our polygon tool for measuring various polygons. You click to add each point and then right click to end the shape. We then have our segmented line tool where we can draw the shape of any line by holding down the mouse and then drawing. And then when we release the left click, it'll give us the overall length of that line. And one final tool we have in here is going to be our edge detection automatic measurement tool, where we, in this case, for example, since we are looking at lines, I can draw lines across here, and it will automatically detect these 2 edges and give us the distance of those lines. This can also be done for a radius and diameter circle, an annulus, and for a 3-point rectangle. Now that we've made all these measurements, you may want to export them. So you can use the tool right here next to the dynamic measurement to export these to a CSV file onto the plugged-in flash drive. That data could then be exported to a computer to a data processing program such as Excel. Along with our various measurement tools, we also have some annotation tools we can look at as well. Here we have our text box. We can draw a text box and then input whatever we'd like in the text box. As with the measurements, these can all be changed. In that case, I made the box a little too small for it to be straight across, so I can enlarge our box. We also have a scale bar tool where it'll tell us the length of the thing if we want it at any kind of angle, and then it'll create our scale bar, which can then be moved around. And finally, our arrow tool, which can be used to create arrows to point at important objects on your image. We also have, this is where calibration would be done in the calibration wizard. Like I said, see the calibration video for more information. And then, once again, we have our trash can, which we use to clear all of our measurements. And then we have our settings. Some important settings to look at here can be found under global, which will allow you to determine how many decimals you'd like in your measurements, as well as make changes such as the font size and how you'd like the cursor. Moving from there, we can also look at our various different types of measurements, and then we can change the color as well as the line width for each individual one. Rather than having to change it post, you can make it so that the default color is however works best for you in your various measurements. Another important thing we will look at here will be our image format. By default, measurement object saving method is in layered mode, but you may want to change it to burn-in mode. Burn-in mode allows for the measurement objects to be merged directly into the image, so they're permanently part of the image once it is moved off the camera. So that's been a quick overview of our various measurement tools and annotation tools. Please check out our other videos on our Microscope YouTube channel for more features of both these cameras as well as our in-focus software that can be used on the computer.